Welcome everybody in on this beautiful Tuesday night to the Charlotte Motor Speedway as we're playing host to the Champion Power Equipment iRacing Truck Series. I'm Austin Edstrom standing alongside Brian Britt, and Austin Derbyshire is behind the production booth as always. Brian, we got a pretty long one here tonight, 110 laps in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series to duel it out on the high banks of the Charlotte Motor Speedway. What do you think we got on offer for us here tonight?
Oh, it's definitely going to be a fun one, that's for sure. I mean, of course, this mile-and-a-half track, a classic, staple, I'd say, of NASCAR. Very unique quad oval, I'd say. Of course, you see the front stretch has those almost somewhat of turns themselves. So these guys are going to have to watch the wall coming through. Of course, the front stretch, very hard to be three wide through there. You could very easily hit the wall. But, of course, we're going to see a lot of speed, I'd say, being carried. In 1 and 2 and on the back stretch. Very tricky in 3 and 4, though, so I think this is going to be interesting to see how these guys play, how they deal with this. I can't wait to see who comes out on top.
Yeah, you mentioned the 3-wide difficulties on the front straightaway. I think that's especially true whenever you kind of have an offset 3-wide situation where maybe one car is offset in a weird angle and might not have your corners quite right. And I feel like we see people get it wrong time and time again down the front straightaway, so I think that's a great point. And then obviously I think the corners here lend itself to some really good racing at this point in their life cycle, being pretty worn out. The trucks and the A cars really really put on a good show from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. A lot of drag on those things, so it kind of brings everybody bunched up together, and I think that's going to bring a pretty exciting show for us tonight. We're going to jump into Brian's keys to the race real quick. Brian, what do you got for us?
Well, I'm definitely excited to say I think tire wear is going to be a big deal here. But, of course, maintaining track position is going to be as well. So I think maintaining track position is going to be kind of a balance between, saving tires. And as well, you're going to want to be easy on the cold tires, especially in 3 and 4. I've been told that when you start the race in 3 and 4 on the cold tires on that first lap, it is very easy to spin out. And, of course, the third key is going to be avoid Brad Thacker. So, yeah, that is coming straight from the mouth of Brad Thacker, and I thought it would be funny to include that one.
Oh, boy.
But just a little bit more of a serious key, though. Be careful under green flag pit stops, because this place is notorious for you end up wrecking your race car coming into pit road. I mean, it's really easy to do that. Those barrels, kills you.
Is Thacker on a vengeance tour or something? And is he gonna go out like a missile tonight?
I have no idea.
Is he calling his shot? I'm a little concerned watching watching Brad Thacker tonight. But either way, we're gonna jump into our broadcast picks. I can tell you who I'm not picking. It's gonna be Thacker. That's for damn sure. But I'm gonna go with Carter Casey. Won 2 weeks ago at Darlington. Really good run last week at North Wilkesboro. So I feel like Carter Casey's gonna back it up with another top run, bring home the checkered flag.
Yeah, I'm going to go with James Harris. He showed some really good speed in, of course, practice, and he looks like he's going to be qualified pretty well as well. Let's see where our producer is going to be going.
Pick Tyler Meeks,
he's going to go with Tyler Meeks.
He did pick. Yeah. All right. Interesting pick. Meeks hasn't won in a long while, I don't think, since we've started broadcasting, but we felt like he's been close time and time again, had an opportunity here or there, but it just hasn't panned out for him. Who knows? Could tonight be the night?
I mean, I hope he gets him one. I mean, he's shown little glimmers of speed at certain tracks where he seems like he's definitely capable of getting it done. Of course, you can see this interesting point. James Harris mentioned me for the race. I said I've never seen the ambient and the actual track line up. Pair of the exact same thing, 78-degree ambient temperature and 78-degree track temp. That's interesting.
It'll put it at 78. It'll do it.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting.
But that means it's going to be a lot of grip. 78 degrees, that's pretty cold out there. So a lot of grip in the racetrack tonight. Gonna probably lend itself to be a pretty good show. A lot of side-by-side racing. Gonna run through the point standings real quick before the qualifying finishes. Nathan Meyer up in the points lead with 2 races to go. 14 points he has over Keegan Sabilo, and another 10 points, so 24 total to James Harris in third. Packer is in 4th place. Hopefully he doesn't go torpedo missile mode tonight, because that's a pretty good points position for Thacker. Tyler Meeks in 5th. Nobody else really with a mathematical chance to challenge for the championship. Really, it's a 2-horse race. between Nathan Meyer and Keegan Sabilo. I think James Harris might be a little bit too far out. We're going to go ahead and run through our starting lineup real quick here on the grid. Nathan Meyer up in the pole with a 29.478. John Ledger on the outside of him, not too far behind, just about 200ths of a second. James Harris starting in the third place spot. Keegan Sabilo in fourth. Carter Casey's going to be starting on the inside of row number 3 with John Lacido on his outside. Kalen Mitchell in the 7th place spot with Russ Kilgore on his outside in 8th. 9th is going to be George Young with Tyler Meeks rounding out the top 10.
11th place going to be Timothy Babcock. 12th place Nick Jabowski. 13th Jason Taylor. 14th Colby Jackson. 15th William Mann Jr. Ray Kennison in 16th. And of course the one to be avoided starting in 17th is Brad Thacker. 18th John Horn. So that's a look top to bottom of our 18 car field here. Definitely interesting to see how this is going to be. We see John Legger. He's up in the top 2, and we know how important track position is going to be. What kind of experience do you have with this racetrack, Austin? I mean, this is a interesting one. It is unique, I'd say.
This is probably one of my favorites on the entire service. I feel like it requires just enough patience on the throttle, getting off, getting down into the corner, hitting your line, hitting your marks. I just feel like it's a little bit more maneuverable than other mile and a halves, even though I feel like the walls are pretty narrow. It's not a very wide racetrack, but I don't know. It's always tended to be one of my favorites. Here, Dover, Darlington, kind of up there at the top for me. Charlotte is a fun one.
Yeah, it is a fun one. I've always liked it as well. Now, there's going to be a big opportunity for these drivers to be able to save tires in 3 and 4. I talked to those guys, before the race, and they said a lot of them pretty much echoed this same sentiment that in 3 and 4, if you kind of stay towards the bottom and really back up your corners, you're going to find yourself being able to save tires quite a bit. But really, I want to reiterate that point about cold tires being kind of difficult to handle. So we're going to watch these guys. Do we see anybody possibly maybe spinning out on the first lap? I know in practice I saw a lot of guys that seemed like they just did not have the handling, especially when they were running that higher line in 3 and 4.
Yeah, now they're all going to be bunched up 2 by 2, flowing down into turn number 1, already bumping on the pace lap. James Harris is antsy to go. That has me a little nervous. You're right. The cold tires can be a lot to handle, and this is a pretty worn and old racetrack by this point, right? Pretty worn out. Going to be rough on the tires. You mentioned tire saving in 3 and 4. It's going to be huge all night. How low can you come out of the corner? The lower you come off, the better you're probably doing on the tires. So it'll be interesting to see who does that best all night. I imagine we will get some long green flag runs at some point. Nathan Meyer leading us down to the green flag for the first time tonight. The green flag is in the air. We're racing from Charlotte.
And look at this. I mean, James Harris right out of the gate, just a fantastic restart or start from the 55. He matched the 24 step for step. 3 wide there for a second. John Lacido shoots through the middle and moves up to 3rd. You see Keegan Sabilo having to stay behind the 8 of Carter Casey. 19th, John Legger. Seems like it doesn't pay to start up there on that top in 2nd place. He was kind of the big loser on that start. A little bit of a loose condition for the 19.
Legger all the way back in the fence for a battle for 5th. Now side by side for 6th, and it might end up turning out to be a 7th place spot here, right in front of Tyler Meeks on the outside groove. Terrible start to this race for John Legger. Moving to the back already out of the top 5, and we're not even 2 laps in.
Yeah, that's definitely not good for sure, and it's very kind of scary looking at the 19. He seems like he's trying to get the rhythm down. Very good qualifying pace. Just does not seem like he's got the handling, though, on the actual race pace. Maybe it's because of where he's running on the top of the track. I think that's got a lot to do with it. We talked about that was going to be handling woes up there, so he's got to really recover, I think, get to the bottom right now. Just two kind of step out, and that might open a door for the 19. We do have a battle for the lead, though. James Harris trying to make something happen. Some blocking down the backstretch. Yeah,
James Harris to the inside of Nathan Meyer. Meyer was not so willing to give that one up, but James Harris powering by on the inside. And I think that is why we're seeing John Legger fall back, right? I feel like he's stuck on that outside groove. And on these new tires, you want to be down on the bottom side of the racetrack. You're going to have enough grip to just rotate past these guys. James Harris almost did it in 3 and 4. He's going to complete it in 1 and 2. Not even a challenge on the outside.
Yeah, but I mean, we just already know that Nathan Meyer's not one to lay down. He is not just going to sit here and let this 55 go. All he's got to do is try to get underneath him again and pretty much put the shoe right back on the other foot. I think we're going to see a lot of revolving door passes. Here comes Legger, though. Legger's not out of it. He is flying back up through this field, up to fourth place right now side by side for third. I'm impressed with this 19. There is no quit in the 19.
Yeah, he's pushing hard on the outside there. Maybe pushing his tires a little too hard, though.
Yeah,
I'd be a little worried.
So.
He's flying up here in a heartbeat all over the back bumper of Nathan Meyer, who just has to go to the bottom. We might be 3 wide for the lead in a moment. James Harris blocks high. Nathan Meyer to the inside, trying to take the lead back.
Yeah, this is getting really interesting. I'm very curious to see how this is all going to turn out. And I did talk to the guys a little bit before the race began, and they said this top side, you can find a lot of speed out of the race car, but if you will be burning the rubber off of the eraser, if you will, as Carter Casey makes a move. He's trying to get by the 73 of John Lucido. Lucido, in a lot of ways, actually seems like he's being a little bit cautious, and that's surprising for the 73. I don't think he wants to burn those tires up, and I gotta take my hat off for him as he's side by side with the 2 of Russ Kilgore at the moment. But James Harris right now is the leader for now.
I can't believe you just said Lucido and cautious in the same sentence.
I know, right?
But I'd have to agree with you. He is being cautious back there, not really burning through his stuff like a couple of these guys up at the front, I think, are. Like the 19 on the outside of the racetrack, pushing hard lap after lap. I mean, it's looking really good right now, but I don't know. I feel like it's just going to hurt him in the long run if we get to that point.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if we get a long run, it is going to hurt these guys for sure. Now, interesting to know about the strategies here tonight that we could possibly see. I think we're going to, more than likely, if it stays green, we'll see a 2-stop strategy because the fuel window is about 47 laps, a give or take, depending on whether you're in the draft, how hard you're driving the race car. So that essentially makes it to where you're going to have to make 2 stops during this race. So when do you stop? But I think a lot of these guys are going to be holding out for a caution as we see, of course, the 19 now going side by side with James Harris. Harris goes up the track a little bit. The 24 almost able to get underneath.
John Legger to the race lead. I mean, what a power move around the outside. We were talking about, we think he's wearing out his tires. That move through 3 and 4, he was pushing it, and he took that lead on the outside. We haven't really seen the pass on the outside too much, especially for the race lead in the early going. Legger making it work, though, pushing that thing hard from the second place spot back to like 8th, all the way back up to the race lead, and we're not even through with 10 laps.
No, he's showing he's got pace, but the thing is now he's having to run on the bottom. What does that truck do on the bottom? It's much different. We'll see. I mean, because a lot of times I know, a lot of times these trucks, when they're running up on the top groove and they move to the bottom, the handling is way, way different, because the tire wear is a little bit different from the bottom to the top. And you also have to change the rhythm up a little bit, but of course he is still in the lead. He's about a 10th or so faster than the guys behind him, but I don't think that's going to last for very long, as for the most part, everybody has single filed out here. You can see, I love what Harris is doing. You can watch the 55. He's essentially painting that bottom line. And he was the one that told me that if I just stay on the bottom, that's where I'm going to save tire, as he goes side by side once again with the 19. So I think the 19 might have run out of juice here.
The longer you can stay on the painted line here, the better you're going to be on that right front tire. And you're going to feel it all night long. I mean, you just get in the groove and you run that lap over and over and over. And James Harris on the bottom of 3 and 4, not getting suckered into the car on his outside, not pushing too hard, just staying at the bottom side of the racetrack, letting the banking do its job, and letting it rotate the car through the corner. And he's able to get on the gas still pretty early coming off and saving that right front massively. And he's doing it lap after lap after lap on the bottom side of the racetrack, and potentially
we're getting a little tight here. He did get a little bit of tight coming out of 2, and I was getting ready to mention that this is a track that is very, you really want to arc your corners, right? I mean, this is a track that you really want to try to run the whole racetrack to be able to kind of unwind the wheel on the exits so that way you can have that momentum. And that's what the 55 is running into right now. He's all got the 24 all over his rear end because he's not able to maintain the momentum on the exit because that 19 is kind of cutting that momentum off.
And that little checkup down the front straightaway with him shoving James Harris puts Carter Casey on the outside of Nathan Meyer. Casey has just been minding his own business, and now all of a sudden he's in a fight side by side for 3rd. It's tightening up all behind James Harris. Can't really get past Legger, though, just running that outside groove. It's become a defensive line as the tires have worn out, and he's just able to stay up there, hold everybody back.
Yeah, definitely very interesting to see him able to maintain this position, and I wonder if it's going to have the longevity because, I mean, he's still running up there. Look at him, very, very top of the racetrack. I think he's starting to get a little bit tight. We'll see if that's going to be the case, but you can see Carter Casey able to really take advantage. He shoots around the 55. I think he's going to securely have second place. I got to be honest, this is a different Charlotte than what I'm used to, and I think the dynamic track that iRacing has kind of been recently updating and unleashing here has changed the way Charlotte's driven. I mean, you can use that top groove a lot better.
You can definitely get up there and make some speed, but I still feel like it's going to hurt you in the tire life department. I mean, we're still only 15 laps into this run, right?
Yeah.
What if we get another 10 laps into this? Do you think Legger's going to be able to hang on to the outside groove and not push up into the fence? I mean, I think that right front tire is going to get cooked.
No, I think you're 100% right, and that's what the guys were kind of saying. When I chatted with them before the race began, they said that the right front is going to be the one that we need to really take care of the most. So I do think Legger's going to start to have that problem, and I think he's already having that problem, to be completely honest with you. As of course you see Carter Casey coming up, drafting pretty much right up to the back end of the 19. I do want to also point to the fact right now, looking at lap times, these guys are already over a second off of their original pace after 16 laps. So
Ooh,
clearly,
Sabilo loose, hitting the apron a little bit further back.
No.
I'm sorry, but Sabilo's going backwards.
That's not good. I would not expect that from the 77. I would have actually expected the 77 to be stronger right now, considering he's always a long run type driver. So he's got to figure something out. And this is kind of a make or break it for you race as well, Austin, considering, I mean, one more race after this, and that seals up the championship. You do not want to see Nathan Meyer put even more of a buffer on you here at Charlotte.
Yeah, if that buffer gets any bigger, it's going to be over. Speaking of over, the race for the lead might be, because Carter Casey just powered by the inside. A little bit of an assist from James Harris down into turn number 3, but now Carter Casey free into the race lead. Let's see what he can do, if he can pull away from the pack. James Harris trying to get by Legger for second now.
I got to give a lot of credit right now to the 67 of Kalen Mitchell. What a magnificent drive from this individual. I mean, up to 5th right now, seems to be really good on the long run, better than everybody else at the moment. 30.938 last time by. Everybody else is in the 31s. I mean, the 67 looks better than everybody.
Yeah, he just looks nice and steady out on the outside of the racetrack. It doesn't really look like he's pushing himself too hard, just taking what the truck's giving him. I mean, he's out on the outside, but I don't really think he's pushing too hard. Still gets to the outside of Nathan Meyer. Looks really clean from Kalen.
Yeah, actually really surprised at the ability this truck seems to have at running wherever they want. Now, of course, James Harris, you see, he's starting to fall back. But I think this 67 seems to be now coming to life as battling for the top 5. I think this is the best we've really seen the 67 run all season long as they go side by side for 3rd place right now. Carter Casey is essentially pulling away. Carter Casey, 31.2 last time by, was the fastest out of the top 5.
Kalen Mitchell might be the best truck in the field right now, though. I mean,
yeah,
he is
100%.
absolutely flying up to the 3rd place spot. Now he's got Legger, who pushed his tires really hard at the beginning, in front of him now. Kalen able to put it all the way by the fence in 3 and 4, and still going to run on the guy that's running the outside groove through the same corner. Kalen Mitchell to the inside for second. He is absolutely moving.
Looks like that truck will run wherever he wants it to. Oh, it's a little tight right there. A little bit of a tight situation, but still able to maintain. Here comes James Harris, 3 wide possibly. No, Nathan Meyer backs out of it. I think these guys are playing some smart money. This is kind of scary, though. Woo. You can see Harris did not want to get out of the gas. As Carter Casey's putting the gas right now.
Racetrack, man. He wanted all of the racetrack. He took it. James Harris just about pounds the fence down out of 4. But Kalen Mitchell, man, he can throw that truck anywhere he wants, and it is just going.
Yeah, it's definitely impressive. I think that to explain this is I think the 67 is definitely waiting for that nose to set before they get back to the gas, and I think that's what you got to do here. You cannot try to force the truck to do something that you don't want, that it doesn't want to do. As there we go, side by side for 3rd, Nathan Meyer trying to pull a slider on the 55 here, not quite able to get it done. As you see, Tyler Meeks, of course, our producer's pick, has entered the top 6 right now. I do believe battling with John Legger and Russ Kilgore.
Kalen Mitchell just got it so close to the wall in 3 and 4 and got a huge run. I am blown away. We're only 23 laps into this run, and he's easily the fastest truck on the racetrack. I mean, holy crap.
And this is
From the
when you
7th place
want to be
position.
the fastest. And this is when you want to be the fastest, right? I mean, this is, that point in the run where everybody else is starting to struggle, clearly. And we're seeing the fall off is over a second. It's a second and a half, essentially, Austin. And that's a big amount of fall off here for Charlotte. And the 67 seems to be doing well, but running a little too close to the wall, I'd say. I don't know. Maybe this is just the line to run. If they get a little bit tight and tag that wall, it might not be quite so good, though.
I think it's the only place that he can find any air. Carter Casey's taking the outside groove, and the 67 can only build up a run on him if he runs a little bit higher. And it's just leaving him like half a groove of air, but it's got him to where he's side by side. Kalen Mitchell to the inside of Carter Casey for the race lead, down into turn 1.
And this could be the first laps led from the 67 of Kalen Mitchell. Is big slider. But here comes the 8 back to the inside. But of course, we know the 67 is really good up here on the top. But what is it? What does he do in clean air? Will he be able to maintain the speed up really close to the wall? You love to see this kind of racing here at Charlotte.
Oh, he's going to take it right here on the outside. Carter's got no chance, and now he's going to be stuck in a side-by-side battle for second. Nathan Meyer coming to assist Kalen. Might have tagged the fence, getting down into 1. Kalen is, pretty daggum committed to that outside groove, running higher than anybody else on the racetrack and making time out of it. Kalen Mitchell from 7th to 1st in 25 laps. What a job.
Yeah, and I think this is probably the first laps led that the 67 has gotten here. But I got to also give some credit here to Nathan Meyer. Meyer seemed like he was kind of not so good earlier, but I think in a way he was trying to save his equipment. And he actually is one of the faster trucks at the moment as well. Has rocketed his way up to second place. Of course, here comes the 8 trying to hold off. Oh, Kalen into the wall. Definitely slowed him down quite a bit, and that's going to give possibly the 24 the lead. Wow.
Oh, Meyer slid him, and he hit him. Meyer hangs on to it. Kalen Mitchell's going to fall to 4th with that checkup in the middle of 3 and 4. Oh, man. Kalen, as soon as he got up to the race lead, falls back.
I would not
on the
write
radio
this
between the
person off.
drivers.
I would definitely not write the 67 off, though. I think Kalen still got a lot of speed. If we see a caution or something like that, and maybe if they cool their tires off, we could possibly see the 67 back in action. Still right there behind the 55 as Nathan Meyer now has to try to defend against Carter Casey. I'm loving the competition here. That these guys are running all kinds of sort of different lines and trying to maintain their tires. When do we see green flag stops? Because this thing seems like it's going to keep going green. I did not think we were going to have this kind of green flag racing here tonight. Because, if you got to split it, if you got to pit twice, Austin, when do you pit?
I figured we would have some long green flag runs. I definitely thought we were going to start out a little messy. And it's been really clean so far at the beginning of this thing. But yeah, we've got we got 3 tire sets. And you got to pit twice if it stays green. So I'm saying, you probably pit around 35, somewhere in that area. 35 to 37 is probably the first pit stop. Maybe you short it just a little bit because you've ran really hard at the very beginning of this run. But I feel like you just cut this evenly in thirds, unless you're just really, really worried about a caution flag coming out. But I don't really see one on the horizon.
And I think it's really shocking to see the top group be so dominant here. I thought staying on the bottom was going to be really the key here on the longer run. But, you can even see Nathan Meyer running that top group. But also, I should say Keegan Sabilo. We saw him have that loose spell a little bit earlier. He has now re-entered the top 5. Just got by, I do believe, Tyler Meeks. And he's trying to catch up to Kalen Mitchell. Now, Keegan is one of the fastest cars on the track at the moment. Now, we expected this.
He is flying. If he didn't have that loose condition, he'd be right up here with the lead as Tyler Meeks is in the fence. Keegan Sabilo is absolutely moving, trying to prove that last week at North Wilkesboro wasn't a fluke. And he's got to get up here and challenge Nathan Meyer for the lead of the race, just so that he even has an opportunity next week at the championship.
And I got to say, just look at how flawless this guy holds the wheel. He is hardly moving that wheel at all. And that's the key to a track like Charlotte. You have to be smooth. You do not want to really be tugging and moving that wheel. Just little bitty movements. And that's how you make that long run pace that we're seeing from him.
He's just letting the car float through the corner. That's the best way I can describe it. He gets it down to the bottom of 3 and 4, puts the car where it's perfectly on the paint on the inside. And at that point, you don't really have to turn the wheel. You just kind of let it do what it wants to do. Get on the gas, and you're good to go. That's what Keegan Sabilo's doing down there, and it is helping him, man. He has got the long run pace figured out. He was a tenth of a second faster than our leader last time by.
Yeah, but I'll tell you who's been fastest right now on the track is James Harris. We go side by side for the lead on lap 34. Harris, of course, trying to take that bottom side. Harris has got a pretty good long run speed right now. Of course, 31.741 last time by. He was about a tenth faster than Meyer. But once the bad thing is that once you get side by side, it just seems like that parachute kind of comes out and starts to slow that truck down. I almost got to be honest. I feel like being in the lead, being in that clean air, seems to be a disadvantage when it comes to when you get the lead. It seems like you all of a sudden start falling back.
These things have a lot of drag, and they don't have a lot of horsepower. So I definitely feel like the draft from the lead car to the second place car can be pretty heavy, especially if that car in second place is running the outside as well as James Harris is. You know, you find a little bit of air up there, get the momentum down the straightaway, and then you get the draft kicking in all the way down. I mean, it's just a double dose. And, well, before you know it, we got a battle for the race lead. Seems to just keep on happening tonight over and over and over again. We've just been swapping the lead back and forth. James Harris this time on the inside of Nathan Meyer, trying to do it once again.
Yeah, definitely. And that truck, that 55, seems like it works wherever he wants it to work. But, of course, you see he kind of slows down in the middle of the groove there. Then, not able to really maintain the exit momentum. But he is going to try to stay alongside the he turns him! Oh, he turns him! And does he save it at 24?
Holy cow, what a
wheel
save!
man saves it.
Unbelievable. Nathan Meyer hangs on to it. James Harris hangs on to it and takes the race lead.
Almost.
And now we've got a 4-car battle for the race lead. Keegan Sabilo through the Astro turn from the inside. Tries to take it from both of them. Not able to do it. Still side by side up front.
This is incredible. I mean, I'm shocked that 24 kept that, in control. And I definitely think he's going to have a long memory. I guarantee that 24 is not too happy. He probably wants to get to the back of that 55 right now.
Well, he's got one car closer. He's up to 4th. Sabilo up to the 3rd place spot after his issue earlier. James Harris tagged the wall down the back straightaway. I think his nerves might be a little shot after almost wrecking the lap before. But all of a sudden, he's inherited the race lead. He's up there, up to the front, leading this conga line on the outside. It finally breaks up in the 5th place spot with Caleb Mitchell running the bottom. Tyler Meeks also back there in 6th place. All of a sudden, we got a 6-car battle for the race lead.
That we do, and I want to point as well to the lap times. These guys are hitting 32-second laps right now, Austin. I mean, they have fallen off, I do believe,
Mitchell.
over 2 seconds. I love this call. Because of how much fall off we're seeing right now, a short pit call is genius because he's going to be running so much more faster than these guys when he gets on new tires.
He really is, as long as they don't all wreck each other before the pit cycle's done. I might be a little worried about it now. They are running hard. They've separated a little bit, but I imagine we're going to see a couple more pit stops this lap or the next lap, and there's going to be some checkups in the middle of the corner here. Everybody's staying out this time, though.
Yeah, it looks like everybody essentially staying out this time. And I think we might have had a pit issue for Caleb Mitchell. Nope. Looks like everything's fine. I thought maybe we had a penalty or something, but it looks like the 67 is going to get off of pit road cleanly. It's going to be able to really turn some good laps here, and you'll be able to see the difference in the speed that Caitlin's going to have. As, of course, Carter Casey tries to hold off Nathan Meyer as well as Keegan Sabilo battling with the 24. You could tell the 24 just has one thing in mind: get to the 55. But no, here we go. Green flag stop.
Sabilo late on the brakes for Sabilo.
I think he got it down to speed. I think he got it down in time.
Wow.
What an aggressive pit stop, though, for the 77.
And he's picked up a lot of time on James Harris just on pit road. My word.
You love to see it. I mean, you could tell, I mean, we're almost, what would you call it, the penultimate race?
Yep.
I mean, this is the race before the championship race. These guys, if they don't nail this race, ooh.
That's going to be a penalty, I can promise you that. Well, Darby, there goes your pick. Oh, they're side by side out of the pit exit. Keegan Sabilo, James Harris. Harris having to be
Yeah.
careful to not get a penalty down on the apron. Sabilo gives way, actually gets a little bit better run off the apron than Harris. And well, they're all going to come out line of stern, 1, 2, 3. They just got to hope this thing cycles through. Lucido staying out, hoping for a caution.
Yeah, I mean, I really like that strategy as well from Lucido. I think that's not a bad idea. The 19, I do believe, just came to pit road, John Legger. But, yeah, I think if a caution comes out, it could really give you a pretty big gift if you could lock a bunch of drivers a lap down. As you can see, Nathan Meyer coming off of pit road. And Meyer, I got to be honest, just not a great pit stop. And we've seen that a lot this season. This is exactly what the guys, like Keegan, this is exactly what Keegan Sabilo needs. This is exactly what James Harris needs. If Harris has a chance at a championship, this is the kind of stuff that they need. They need Meyer to make mistakes.
I agree, but he does have the newest tires out of him, so he did stay out longer, so he might have just lost a little bit more time because of that, and he could gain it all back on the green flag run.
He could. He definitely could. I mean, he's been really good on the long run. One lap, even doesn't sound like a lot. It can add up. But I'll tell you, the battle right now is between, of course, the James Harris, Keegan Sabilo, and Carter Casey. Been loving this. Every week, it's like we got 5 guys that are all in contention to be able to win a race.
If you're watching the battle for what will be the race lead after the pit cycles out, we're going to head to a commercial break as we wait for it to finish up. Whenever we get back, we got more green flag racing to the finish of this thing. Stay with us.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the Champion Power Equipment iRacing Truck Series. We got Carter Casey kind of leading the way here. We still got one guy out on the racetrack that has not pit yet, Nick Jazbowski. And, well, I got to point out, he's three laps away from making it to the halfway point. Is he going to make it?
I don't think so.
No, he's pitting. He's pitting.
I had heard some
holy
guys.
cow.
I had heard from Harris, because he's always my source of information, but he had said something about in the official series is that somebody had made it to lap 50, but never have I seen anybody make it to 53. That's pretty impressive. Would not be surprised that he's on fumes coming to pit road. So that means Carter Casey, of course, is going to have the lead. But I do want to look at the guys that are further back from Casey here that are a little bit faster than him. Harris, Sabilo, Meyer is actually a lot faster. So definitely curious to see how this plays out. Meyer's actually 2/10 faster than our leader right now. And you mentioned that could be something because of the lap newer tire.
That, and I feel like Carter Casey also ran really hard at the beginning of this run. I know we're only about 10, 15 laps into their stint, but he pulled away from that pack after they came out of pit road. I wouldn't be surprised if he hurt the tires just a little bit.
Yeah, he could have. But, I mean, then again, I feel like Casey took the lead earlier as well and kind of did this exact same thing. I think we have some replay footage possibly of Tyler Meeks, his pit road mishap.
Well, he missed his box too.
He did miss his box. So that's a compound issue there, isn't it?
That was after he sped.
He sped and he missed his box. That is just about as bad as it gets, I got to be honest, especially under Breen.
Yeah, Meeks back, still +1, even after everybody's pit. He is 1 lap down because of that big pit road speeding penalty. Not even the first car lap down either. So he's got to hope and pray for a couple of cautions to get himself back on the lead lap. And that sucks because he fought himself, into fighting for a top 5.
No, he was fast. And a good friend of mine always says, you race for show, you pit for dough. And I think this track is definitely exemplifies that for sure. We even talked about it, I think, at the top of the broadcast about coming into pit road here is actually quite difficult. Especially these guys were on 30-something lap old tires, almost 40 lap old tires. It's very easy. It's very easy to overspeed. It's very easy to spin out. It's a wonder no one hit the water barrels at this track. It's notorious for things like that happening. As here comes Nathan Meyer. Getting closer and closer. I think he's going to get to the inside of the 55 here on the backstretch.
Ooh, and I think you might be speaking too soon about the tire barrels. We still got one more round of green flag pit stops.
Right.
I'm a little nervous about that too. I think you might have put a evil announcer jinx on that one.
Oh, I'm always doing it. I'm not going to stop.
Nathan Meyer is to the inside of James Harris for second. Back on the front straightaway, down the second dog leg, and down into turn number 1. Nathan Meyer diving it down to the inside, using a little bit of fresher tire, and able to get up side by side with James Harris coming out of the corner. It's going to be a drag race all the way down the back.
But it's not easy to pass, and I think that could maybe even out the tires. If Harris kind of bullies the 24 a little bit, not let him get past. But no, it looks like the 24 is going to have a really good exit out of turn 4. He's going to slide right up in front of the 55. Now, I do want to keep in mind here that the 55 and the 24 do have a little bit of history in this race. If I'm not mistaken, I do believe the 55 almost ended the 24's race today.
Yeah, it was
during that last run.
I would have to say that was pretty close to accurate. It was a little scary.
Can we take a second to give the 24 of Nathan Meyer a ton of credit? Because the man, we never had a caution, Austin. The 55 Harris got into the rear end of the 24, turned him sideways, he saved it, and he's still in contention for the win. That's
he's about to take the lead. He's about to take it. He's to the inside of Carter Casey out of turn 2. Nathan Meyer has fought himself back. What could have been a day ender
Yeah, I mean, it's
is
incredible.
just going to be a
It's
speed bump for
incredible.
Nathan Meyer.
I mean, and he's done similar things like this in the past. I mean, we've seen him absolutely bungle pit road and come back and win the race, you know. Let's see, here we go.
Right, coming
They're
off the
not.
four.
They're fighting right now, though. They are fighting. Ooh, a little bit of touch on the wall there, but I don't think it's going to slow him down. Here comes the 3, of course, trying to unlap himself. A little bit of a variable coming into this race.
Yeah, they could throw a wrench in this battle for the lead. Oh, Meyer way to the outside. Carter Casey trying to find some room with Jackson coming through on the bottom.
Love that.
Meyer's going to have a
paint
good enough
scheme.
run. That is a pretty
Really,
nice paint.
I am digging that paint scheme. He changed it up from last week. And speaking of paint schemes, we got to point out the Memorial Day paint schemes here. Of course, definitely want to definitely think about the men and women that lost their lives defending our freedom here in America.
Yeah, Carter Casey's is really, really cool.
You also see James Harris as well rocking a Memorial Day paint scheme.
As we highlight James Harris's nice paint scheme, we're going to highlight Champion Power Equipment here on the broadcast because this broadcast is brought to you by Champion Power Equipment. Since 2003, CPE has earned a reputation for designing and producing the market's finest power equipment. With over 4.5 million generators sold in North America, Champion has decades of experience providing dependable and durable power products designed and engineered in the United States for the North American and world markets. Visit us at championpowerequipment.com for more information. Champion Power Equipment, powering your life. Big thank you to Champion Power Equipment for sponsoring the truck series here, the Champion Power Equipment iRacing truck series, that is, as we're looking at James Harris going around turns 1 and 2 from the Charlotte Motor Speedway, trying to take the second place spot away from Carter Casey.
Yeah, definitely some battling going on right now. Harris has been really incredible here tonight. Of course, I got to give him a lot of credit on all of the runs he's been having at the mile and a half. So it seems like he's very strong. But I got to also point out the 77, give him a little bit of credit as well. I mean, we used to know him just for his short track driving, but I got to be honest, the man has become I'd say, a Swiss Army knife at every track.
He's a tire saver is what he is. I mean, he's just better at holding back and saving his equipment than anybody else, and he's going to do a late dive to the inside here into turn 3, maybe make it 3 wide coming out of the corner. James Harris might just get the spot, so it's just going to be 2 wide coming behind him. But Sabilo, man, I'm telling you, as soon as the tires start wearing out, Sabilo rises towards the top.
And I gotta give these guys all a lot of credit. I mean, they're showing that they have a lot of trust in each other. I mean, to be able to race like this, we're seeing blocks thrown, we're seeing guys getting incredibly close to each other's bumpers, and that shows that the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series, has a ton of talented drivers, and of course that they all respect each other enough to trust each other not to wreck.
Yeah, and it's been a lot of hard racing up towards the front, right? And nobody's really leaned on each other too hard. We've had a couple moments, James Harris and Nathan Meyer getting together, but other than that, I mean, it's been pretty clean up towards the front.
Yeah, it has been. Of course, I was just kind of thinking about Kalen Mitchell, where he's been at. He's, of course, in 5th place, about 3 seconds back from Casey. So apparently a little bit of a bad stop has led to this 67. There's the wall. But hopefully doesn't slow him down very much. It does a little bit. But I think we see
Yeah, a second and a half slower on pit lane.
I think that accounts why he's not up here with the top 4.
Maybe not as aggressive
Also,
getting
John
down pit
Horn.
road too.
John Horn, we haven't talked about that one car all night long. He's up in 6th place right now. So got to give him a lot of credit. He actually looks like he's got some speed. I think he might have a little bit of a different strategy on pit road.
Yeah, good run for John Horn so far. Right in front of Jason Taylor for the 6th place spot. It's a pretty good run. Jason Taylor having a good night himself. Solidly in the top 10. Pretty good gap over John Leger behind. Leger's kind of found his footing in the 8th place spot. Stopped the bleeding. Timothy Babcock side by side with, I thought that was Brad Thacker for a moment. And we've been told we cannot be close to close to Thacker tonight. It might be George Young we don't want to be close to.
I was going to say, George Young just hit the wall behind these guys.
Yeah, Tyler Meeks took evasive maneuvers there. A little sketchy a little bit further back. Trying to get sketchy after the race lead. James Harris to the inside of Nathan Meyer. Through 1 and 2 and with a good run coming out.
Yeah, and you can see Keegan Sabilo kind of running into tire tracks of both of these guys. So it'd be curious to see how this plays out. I mean, we know the 24 and the 55 have been racing each other really, really hard all night long. And if they race each other a little bit harder, that might end up being gold medal for Keegan Sabilo in that 77. You got to know that 77 knows I have to win. I have to get a good finish here, and I need the 24 to be wrecked. And that might happen. He might get his wish if the 55 and him race hard.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to get the wrecked wish, but he definitely needs him to finish a little bit further back in the pack. But right now, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Oh, getting close, though. James Harris just about takes him out down the front straightaway. Keegan Sabilo looking to pounce on it, but it's just, even if Sabilo wins the race and Nathan Meyer's right here in second or third, it's just not going to be enough, man.
That's right. I mean, just like last week at Norfolk Borough, I mean, the guy said, I'm not no good at short tracks, and I think he ended up finishing in the top 5, right? I mean, so, the guy, there can't, I'm sure a lot of us are probably like, man, this guy's a winning machine, and sometimes you can feel a little bit of bitterness towards the person that wins so much, but, I mean, it just really, he deserves every win that he's gotten. The 24 has been insane this season. I mean, he has been just the talent just drips off this guy, right?
Yeah, as soon as he loses the lead, he takes it right back. James Harris not willing to let it go, but yeah, Nathan Meyer's had a hell of a season so far. 5 wins so far on the year, second place last week. Meyer's solidly been the best guy week in and week out. Trying to be the best guy tonight, but James Harris is not going to go down without a fight, and Sabilo's still right there.
Yeah, and of course, tire wear is starting to become a factor again, and of course, we're going to see another green flag pit stop here very soon. When do you expect?
10 laps. I think it's going to happen around lap 85. I mean, we pitted 45. We're going to 110. I mean, you can see it as early as 80, but I feel like you're going to see them more around 83 to 85.
Shockingly, this has stayed green for 70-plus laps. And now they're racing side by side once again for the lead. Now, this has been, and the thing is, you'd be like, okay, 70-something laps green, okay, they must have gotten really spread out. Now, while we have seen quite a bit of spread, there still has been a continuous race for the lead the entire race.
Yeah, we've always had at least 2, mostly at least 3 trucks up here at the top. James Harris, whoa, that's an early peel off. That's early from James.
Yeah, this is definitely interesting. I'm wondering what provoked this. This could be the call of the race. It could also be the call of him not winning the race because of this call.
I might have also just done my math wrong. That was some South Carolina math out of my head. This makes a little bit more sense now. I might have had some South Carolina math built into me there. I apologize.
Did we see an answer? And I think we do. The 24 and the 77 both coming down.
Oh, man, Sabilo. Oh, too late for Meyer. I think he's going to get a speeding penalty.
What a save, though. You got to give him some credit. He was sideways, out of sorts.
Oh, man,
Does he get a penalty? That would change the race. That would
might have gotten away with it, man.
Change it.
Here we go. I think he got away with it.
If he gets a speeding penalty, that would be a gift for the 77.
He's fine. I can't believe it. Yeah, I had some bad math there on the pit window, so my bad. Moving me down in the commentary rankings after that one. Sabilo.
Good race off pit road. Sabilo. Very good race off pit road.
Nathan Meyer, 37.4 seconds in the pit lane. Almost identical between James Harris and Nathan Meyer. Meyer, though, pitted a lap later and has actually lost a good chunk of time.
I think it's because of his pit exit. I mean, he just did not seem to get going maybe he didn't stop in his box as efficiently as he needed to. Keegan absolutely did a fantastic job on pit road right there. I mean, you see, of course, he's got about a 7/10, 8/10 of a second gap now on Meyer. And we know that Sabilo, if you give him that track position, this is the last green flag stop. I don't know if you want to give the 77 that track position. But, I mean, then again, we got the 55 up front, too. I mean, this could go any number of different ways.
I think this is Sabilo's race to lose. I think that he's figured out the 1.5 miles. He just needs a long green flag run to make it happen.
Yeah, he's getting it. He's definitely been getting it. I mean, this has been about a perfect scenario for the 77.
We need to get Sabilo in some open races. If he wants a long green flag runs, he would be lights out in some trucks.
Yeah, for sure. This has definitely been an incredible race. I mean, to see this thing go this green, because I do believe we're seeing some more drivers pop down pit road. John Lucido, William Mann Jr. coming down pit road. Colby Jackson right now out front.
Here we go. We're getting down to it. 30 laps to go. Like you mentioned, Colby Jackson still out on the racetrack. Where has was it Jabowski that waited until the last minute to pit?
Yeah, he's
still
back in 12th.
Yeah, did he pit again? No, he hasn't. I'm surprised he hasn't made up more ground than that, to be honest, even after everybody has come down pit road.
Yeah, definitely curious. Of course, you see the 73 getting passed by our leader, or what should be the net leader, James Harris. Harris has got about a half a second back to Keegan Sabilo. Race is definitely tightening up. As Nathan Meyer as well has drafted his way up to the 77. As you can see, Lucido kind of slowing down Sabilo right now. But of course, the 73 should be on newer tires, I do believe.
I think he just came out of pit road, so maybe getting him up to temperature?
Could very well be the case, as he, of course, is going to. And look at that. I mean, Meyer able to really utilize the 73 to jump in front of the 77. Now, that is going to change everything, I think, in a lot of ways. We know how important track position is, and I think the 24, that might have changed everything for him. And that's not what the 77 wanted to see, I'll tell you that right now.
Well, Meyer's trying to get past Lucido now, and I don't know if that was the best idea with Lucido being on newer tires either. I feel like staying behind him, you'd probably draft up to these guys and be A-okay. Lucido, though, drives it in on the outside. Colby Jackson stuck in the middle. It's going to be 3. They all cycle out okay coming out of turn number 4. Meyer just settles in behind Lucido. Probably the right move. Just let him draft you up to, you can save a little bit. Just use his draft all the way up to James Harris, 5/10 of a second up the road.
No, I agree. I mean, why race him? I mean, if he's faster on the newer tires, there's no point in racing him.
And he's a lap down. Let him go.
Yeah, he's a lap down. He's not for position. And if he's holding adequate pace, I mean, just hang out behind him and try to save your equipment. And here comes Lucido. He's going to get by the 55. If I was in the 24 shoes, I would definitely try to follow the 73 through past the 55. I mean, that's essentially what he did. Yeah.
Finally. He finally just tucked in the slipstream. It's just, Lucido is really quick on the new tires, so he's kind of pulling away from Nathan Meyer, but Meyer is using it to get all the way to the back bumper. Now Lucido, just, 2 car lengths in between James Harris and Nathan Meyer, stretch it to 3 through 3 and 4. Nathan Meyer's getting there. Oh,
he definitely is. I mean, and you could tell the lap times are way different. I mean, about a 1/10 of a second, that was, Meyer was a little bit faster than Harris. And I'm surprised at Keegan. I think Keegan's kind of slowed down quite a bit, but I think there might be some method to that as well. Keegan's always kind of playing a little bit of a saving strategy. As you see, the 55 goes up the racetrack, lets the 73 go. And that is going to put Lucido, I do believe, back on the lead lap.
And James Harris needs to do the same thing. He needs to just ride in that draft and hope that it carries him for another 23 laps.
Of course, Carter Casey has gone on to the back end of Sabilo. He's another driver I think we got to give a lot of credit to. I mean, of course, not really a championship contender, but he's been in the contention for race wins every time I've seen him on track.
Yeah, Carter Casey's been quick all season long. So, got that win at Darlington a couple weeks ago too. Second place last week. We got a battle for the race lead. Nathan Meyer to the inside of James Harris. I don't know if it's going to work out through 1 and 2 this time. He might be able to stick side by side draft down the back. A little bit of run 55. Nathan Meyer's going to get there. Keep the side draft going down to 3.
Yeah, Meyer, of course, is on 1 lap newer tires. Oh, he's going to slide up a little bit. That was kind of a little bit of a tight condition for 24. He didn't slide up too much, but the way he kind of came off that corner scared me a little bit.
Might be able to
Yeah,
take the lead
got it.
here. Driving it in deep. See over the checkup in front.
Oh, this is huge!
Oh, they're taking Meyer around!
No
On the
cross
inside.
flag. Does the 24 come back up on the track? He's trying to save it.
Oh my. Well, that's what Keegan Sabino needed to see. I can tell you that right now.
That's exactly what Keegan needed. He's now up in the lead.
Harris has to get second.
We got to take a look back at that one right there. Lap traffic just interfered in this race. Whoa. They caught him so quickly, and of course you saw Lucido catch up to the back end of a slower race car. As they are racing right now, side by side for second place. Let's take a look at the replay of this incident. And this happened so suddenly. This is so sudden. See, they were racing.
We got another lap here coming out of turn 4. It was a good race between them, Brian.
Yeah, it was. Unfortunately, Nathan just bad luck. I mean, he came up on slower traffic. You see Tyler Meeks. That's who Lucido caught. And you can just see how much slower he is. Lucido gets to the rear of the 7. And just Nathan, he didn't really know where to go. And then, of course, he comes down, and unfortunately, 25 turns him.
Yeah, Nathan's trying to force the issue. He just took the race lead. He's trying to find a hole, and I think he just misjudged a little bit.
Yeah. Fortunately for Nathan, though, he is only back in 8 right now. I mean, that's not as bad as it could be.
But if he could use the fast repair and get back in there with the green light right now, you saw that time, and he's going to be dog slow. He's going to be very slow with that damage. So he could lose a couple more spots.
He could. He definitely could. I mean, looking at his lap times, he is slower than the 9th place position and the 10th place position. This has been an absolute gift to Keegan Sabino. He's 8 tenths of a second out in front of Carter Casey. He is his fastest car on the track right now. So, I mean, this is definitely about the best case scenario of 77. If this stays like it is, this opens the door for a championship next week for Keegan. And Keegan says, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, but Keegan says he's very confident in the Gateway.
If it was 14 points coming in, right?
That's correct.
So Sabino would have half it here tonight if it stays the same. And right now it's looking like Meyer is going to lose more position because he's slowing down. I mean, he's 3-4 tenths of a second off of Timothy Babcock behind him. George Young is a little bit slower than Babcock. He might have been only more spot, but I mean, it's going to get over half the points deficit.
The damage I'm seeing from the majority of the damage I'm seeing is on that right rear here. You can see it right there. The spoiler's a little bit bent. You can see where the side of that race car is bent up quite a bit. And that hurts quite a bit, Charlotte. I gotta be honest. I mean, Charlotte is a track that you need aero. I mean, aero is very, very important at this racetrack. And you clearly see the speed difference. I mean, he was one of the fastest trucks on the track, and now he's a second off of what he gets in. So clearly that has affected him quite a bit. Carter Casey, though, is starting to rebound speed-wise. Last time by, he was, I do believe, the fastest car on the track. He is catching Keegan Sabino. Now, even if Sabino doesn't win this race, this is still a gift for him.
It is, but he's got to maximize the points, man. I mean, you got to take as many of them.
He definitely does.
Yeah, you got to take as many of them as you can right here, right now. I mean, this is your moment. This is going to be tough, though. Carter Casey is quick. Sabino does have the dirty air with with Lucido in front of him, so it could be tough. Lucido could have some damage from that wreck earlier.
And you could
So, I don't know,
tell
this is not
Lucido's
free.
not making this easy. I mean, Lucido is not going to let Keegan go. I mean, he's clearly protecting the bottom. But I don't know. Keegan might be able to make the pass up top. Yeah, I think he might be able to get past on top here. Yeah, looks like Lucido actually just gave it to him. That's a shock. And Keegan Sabilo able to put the 73 a lap down. Of course, the 73 will be the lucky dog. Does Carter Casey have an easy time getting by the 73? That's going to be the question here. James Harris, essentially a non-factor now, and I hate to say that, but he is about he's about 2 seconds back from the leader right now, and lap times are looking bad. I would not be shocked that the 55 also picked up some damage in that or hurt his tire.
Oh, I think, well, the 55 definitely did. He's got some right front damage, and he's definitely fallen off the 2 race leaders. There's just really 2 stories that I'm kind of watching. One is Nathan Meyer's about to pass Colby Jackson and just did to give himself 1 more point. The other is, will Timothy Babcock get to Nathan Meyer and take that point back? Meyer is 2/10 of a lap, or 2/10 of a second per lap slower than Babcock, and we've got about 12 laps to go. So can Babcock run him down, or can Nathan Meyer maybe pick up another spot on his own?
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be close. I mean, looking at the math here, I mean, you see Babcock's about 31.541 versus Meyer 31.8. So that's definitely close. I think there's a chance that Meyer does. Well, I don't know. Last time Meyer was a lot slower that time. So I don't know. It's definitely a question. Sabilo, of course, has picked the pace up back up again. He is securely, firmly in the lead. He's got about an 0.8 of a second gap now on Casey. And wouldn't that be something to see Keegan Sabilo go 2 in a row? Of course, he won last week at North Wilkes-Barre.
Was this the exact same top 3?
It could be. I mean, I think Casey finished second last week, didn't he?
Casey definitely finished second. Who the heck was third? It might have not been James.
I can't remember, to be honest with you.
That's going to irritate me. I thought we were going to get back-to-back the same top 3s, but I think James Harris might be screwing that up.
Colby Jackson has now gone a lap down. John Lucido, of course, still the lucky dog as we're coming up to 8 laps to go. Keegan Sabilo just crossed that a second gap threshold, as he is definitely the best at saving the equipment. I got to just, once again, hats off to the 67. Best race that he has had all season long since he showed up in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series.
Yeah, Caleb Mitchell with consistent top 5 speed all night, right? I mean, I feel like that's the floor. He ran up towards the race lead, made a little mistake and lost it, but kept himself in the top 5 basically the entire night. Benefited off of Nathan Meyer having an issue not too long ago, picked up a spot. But other than that, I mean,
yeah,
he's
run.
completely earned his way being up in the top 5.
No, and you know, it hasn't been because of a caution or something like that gifting positions to the 67. Now, this has been straight up earning this. I mean, I'd say for sure has shown speed. I think that if a caution had came out, it might have given the 67 a chance to win it, because I think they have the pace to do it. Of course, Keegan, though, definitely happy with his performance. Now, Jason Taylor, another one, we were kind of just looking at the 15. Quiet day. Haven't even really thought about the 15 today, but has ran up into the top 5 and has just, some days you want a quiet day, you know?
That's a great day from Jason Taylor. Quiet and in 5th. I mean, you can't complain about that. That's the thing about these long races that don't have a caution. It's perfectly natural. Where you finish is where you deserve.
Yeah, I mean, you earned it. That's for sure.
We are going to have a battle for that 7th place spot. Babcock has ran down
There he
Nathan
comes.
Meyer.
Yep, and the closer he gets to that draft, the quicker he's going to be on the straightaways, and that's what I think is hurting Myers. Myers not as good on the straightaways, and you know, that's what that aero damage does at a track that has such long straightaways.
Yeah, they've got 5 laps to go as the leaders. Well, the leaders just took 5 laps to go, so these guys getting to that point. Nathan Meyer's been hurting though ever since that damage. He picked up 1 point, and that felt very valuable at the moment. But I think he's about to lose it. I think Timothy Babcock is going to come and swipe one of those points away from him in just a couple laps. And that could be super valuable in this race for the championship. All it's going to take is one more slip up from Meyer next week, or one bad run at a track that Sabilo feels amazing at, by the way, for this championship to go the other way.
Yeah, I mean, this has taken a huge swing. I mean, if you had asked me just a couple races ago who's going to win the championship, I would say Nathan Meyer. And I think I am on that side of the fence. But I'll tell you what, I've gotten a lot closer to the middle of the fence, though, right?
It's definitely, the momentum has turned. Nathan Meyer has the lead, but he's just got to defend it. But the problem is, Keegan's got all the momentum. I mean, how do you defend against momentum?
He's got the fire right now. I mean, he's definitely got the fire. He's got the motivation. He's definitely doing it right. As we're coming up to 2 laps to go, he's come up to William Mann Jr., put him 1 lap down. He's got plenty of a gap back to Carter Casey. I wouldn't even really press the issue too much with William Mann, but it looks like William Mann's going to go up the racetrack.
And it looks like Meyer's going to hang on to this position back here. Babcock has kind of stalled out ever since he got about 0.5 of a second back. Hasn't really been able to do anything with it. So
could be the dirty air. It
could be. Meyer's looking to hang on. Babcock is just so tight through 3 and 4, not even with an opportunity to do anything. Keegan Sabilo, though, coming through 3 and 4, coming to the white flag, looking to put William Mann Jr. a lap down before we get to the end of this thing, looking to punch a back-to-back win ticket here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. 1 lap to go for Keegan Sabilo.
White flag is out on the racetrack. We have went 100% green here tonight. Isn't that just impressive here in the Championship Power Equipment Truck Series, Champion Power Equipment Truck Series? That is is it? Did we go 100% green last week at North Wilkesboro?
I don't think so. Either way, Keegan Sabilo is coming out of turns 3 and 4 this time by. And he's going to win at the Charlotte Motor Speedway in the Champion Power Equipment iRacing Truck Series. And he's going to half that gap to the points leader, Nathan Meyer, who comes across the line. Looks like it's going to be in the 7th place spot, coming through 3 and 4 this time. Babcock, not anywhere close. So Nathan Meyer is going to stop the bleeding at 7th place. Going to lose out on 6 points to Sabilo, so the gap is going to be down to 8. And, well.
What was that?
It was a little extra.
Not very nice. A little extra love tap there. But, yeah, no, I mean, we still got to give a lot of credit to the 24. It was clearly one of the best trucks out there. And did a great job stopping the bleeding. As we see a big celebration there from the 77.
100% of this race under green. That was a quick one, I gotta say, even for a long one in terms of the lap count here tonight. But we're going to jump into our final commercial break of the evening. On the other side, we're going to talk to Keegan Sabilo and the rest of the top 3. Be sure to stay with us, hear what they got to say. Welcome back to the Champion Power Equipment iRacing Truck Series. Here's your final race rundown from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Keegan Sabilo ends up on the top step of the podium. Carter Casey in 2nd, same top 2 as last week. James Harris in 3rd, Kayla Mitchell 4th, Jason Taylor rounds out the top 5. John Legger in 6th place, Nathan Meyer all the way back to 7th, Timothy Babcock in 8th, John Thacker 9th, and George Young rounds out the top 10.
William Mann Jr. finishes in 11th place. John Lucido in 12th. Russ Kilgore finishes 13th. Colby Jackson in 14th. Tyler Meeks 15th. Nick Jaboski in 16th. Ray Kennison in 17th. John Horn in 18th. He finished a lot of laps down, so something must have happened there to Horn that we didn't see
Thanks for Horn. He was having a heck of a good run. But now that we're done with the race rundown, we're going to jump into our top 3 interviews. Up first, we're going to pull up James Harris, our 3rd place finisher. James, you had a heck of a run there. Looked like you might have had an opportunity to win that thing at the end, but got caught up in that incident with Nathan Meyer in the lap cars. Just kind of walk us through what happened and just how heartbreaking is it to see another one slip away?
At this point, I think I'm getting used to it between last season and then a couple of races this season. But man, I think on the long run, nobody can argue that I had the best truck, because both of those long runs we were able to, we gave the lead up middle of the runs, but at the end of the runs we were able to get it back. And I pitted a lap before Nathan and Keegan on that last pit stop, and I was not running hard at all because I knew they were going to eventually catch up. And at that point, that's when I was going to race. And then right when Nathan caught me, that was my point. I was like, we're about to race these last 20 laps to have some fun, and the lap cars and all that junk happened.
Well, looking back at that incident, is there anything in hindsight that you wish you could have done different? I mean, it felt like it just all fell into your lap and there wasn't really much you could do, but going back, is there anything that you saw that maybe could have led you to know that was coming?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you had Lucido who had fresh tires, so he passed us, which is fine. And then I believe Tyler had old tires on the high side, and my plan was just to follow Nathan. And then it all happens so fast. I see Lucido go low, Nathan goes high, and then Nathan hits Tyler, and I'm just trying to just go below Nathan, and he comes down a little bit, and we make contact. And I still could have had something for those guys, but that killed my right front because I had some damage, and it just killed my aero.
Well, James, we still got, one more race on the season at Gateway? What do you think about Gateway? You think you got an opportunity to end that losing streak?
Man, if I could get a job with iRacing and get into the system and delete that from the sim, I would be perfectly happy. So, but I mean, I don't think we're in a points battle anymore. So we're just gonna race hard next week. You never know what can happen. I didn't think I would win Martinsville if I got that win. So we do have a week, and I'm gonna get with my boy Randall with Reaper, and we're gonna do some practice before next week.
Well, you never know what could happen, but it sounds like we're not going to be picking James Harris as the race winner in the pre-race picks next week. James, who do you have to thank at the end of this one?
Please don't. Let me thank my beautiful wife Courtney for putting up with all my sim racing, and she's a great supporter, and I love her to death. Kevin Kirschner of Blackstone Management, Champion Power Equipment, Green Mountain Grills, Allegiant, and Grid Vision. You guys put on probably the best broadcast in all of sim racing.
Wow, that's pretty high praise. I appreciate that. I like being the best in anything. Thank you, James.
Dead 4.
3rd place finisher James Harris. The breast in the business right there. 2nd place finisher Carter Casey is going to be coming down to the booth. He's got Brian Britt standing by.
Carter, definitely great job for you tonight. I'm just so happy to see you in this series. And ever since you've hit the ground, it seems like you are in contention for wins week in and week out. What was the race like tonight from your perspective?
Yeah, I was just trying to use patience, but I used the tires where they were still good, and first run went pretty good. Pit cycles went good. Yeah, there was just some guys tonight that had the tire saving figured out a little better than I. Obviously Sabilo did, and James and Nathan, they were all really fast. So we were just kind of packed up. So try and bide our time, but manage tires at the same time, and didn't quite have the tire saving that we needed tonight to run with those top guys. But we still pulled a P2 out of it, so I'll take it.
Well, I know we saw you, in a couple runs, kind of get up to the lead and pull away a little bit, and kind of fell back into the clutches of everybody. But then you still were able to maintain pace. Do you think that was kind of the problem, that you kind of drove away a little bit too much in that last run?
Yeah, I was hoping clean air would prevail, and it was nice to an extent, but yeah, once the tires plateaued, it reeled me back in, and you just kind of have to take a break from there and not continue to kill your stuff and just lose a little bit of time just to kind of maintain. And that's what we did. It was a good clean race. That was fun.
Yeah, we definitely have loved seeing you out here, Carter. I mean, every race we've seen you in, you've been in contention, and you've made the races that much more intense to watch for sure. So definitely great job on the 2nd place. Next week we're going to be heading to Gateway. Now, Gateway is a driver's track through and through, and we know that you're good at the driver's tracks, considering you raced really well at Darlington. You're able to win there. What do you think about Gateway?
Gateway is one that I need to practice at. I've turned very few laps there, and when it comes to I think there's gonna be downshifting involved, and I've never been great at that on the oval, so we're gonna have to adapt to that. That's gonna be a learning curve, but I do like the style of the track, but the shifting is something that we're gonna have to work on.
All right. Well, we definitely hope you get to work right after this race, essentially. But who can we shout out after your second place finish?
Yep. Shout out to you guys here at Grid Vision for broadcasting there every week, and shout out to James for running the league, and big shout out to Champion Power Equipment for making this all possible for us.
All right. Thanks for your time, Carter. We'll have a great night, man.
All right, you too, bud.
All righty. That was Carter Casey, of course, driver of the 8 machine. And next up, we're going to be talking to our winner.
Keegan Sabilo, back-to-back weeks. Who would have thought? I kind of didn't, because you told us you were going to be pretty crap at Charlotte. You were downplaying your talents here on the high banks at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and you come in here, we have a long race, green flag all the way through, and well, the tire saving came in handy. Can't say I'm too surprised about that part. But Keegan, what do you have to say for yourself, man? You lied to me. You lied to my face.
Yeah, see, the stats never lied, because this is like my 3rd or 4th Charlotte race with this group, and I never finished top 10 in other ones, and that wasn't because of any accidents or anything. It was just pure speed. It was just terrible. I would be almost lobs down. So just honestly, I don't even know what to think. I think with it going green flag pretty much the whole race, kind of the short track, keeping the truck on the racetrack and saving everything, the car, the tires, and just keeping yourself in it kind of helped there. But yeah, just kind of rode around there and planned for the end, and just wanted to see what we can give it there at the end. And then obviously we all saw the events that went down and was able just to take advantage of it and keep running our pace and drive away.
Yeah, you mentioned that wreck in front of you. It ended up being your saving grace, because that was your championship contender that got caught up in it. He ended up finishing in the 7th place spot after the caution flag did not fly. He couldn't use the faster pair. That cuts the championship lead down to 8 going down into the last race. Does that make you feel hopeful, or does it kind of hurt you that you didn't even have it, from what it was beforehand?
I didn't even think, I thought I was going to lose coming into this one, so I'm more than happy with it. I think Gateway should be pretty good for me, I would think. Kind of a bigger short track, so we'll see what we got out of Gateway. But, if we didn't have a good run tonight and get a good bunch of points, then we weren't going to have a shot next week. So that's the big thing for me there is, we're still in it. And if we didn't have a good day tonight, we weren't going to be in it. So we had the good day we needed. Unfortunately, at the expense of another competitor, but just going to keep grinding out and see what we can do next week. I think we got a fair shot. Maybe not at the championship there, because Nathan's a solid driver and he'll run well, but at least if hopefully maybe getting another win of the season.
Yeah, it's a great point. You're still in it, even whenever you thought you were going to come into the night and be on the outside, just hoping for a miracle. So that's a fair point. Going into the next week, you're still in the fight for the championship. What do you think? Are you putting money on yourself?
Honestly, it's hard to say. I feel like we're capable of getting it done for sure. I think it's going to take some events there, maybe a spin or something from Nathan. He's just right there, and he's always been up here the whole season. So it's going to be close, honestly. We're not going to give up hope. We're going to continue to work hard like we got the shot, and we're just going to see what we can get. We're already kind of down a little bit, but we're going to try and push through as hard as we can. I feel like we get a good shot at being up there and possibly winning the race, but it just all depends on what is out of our control, and that's how the 24 finishes.
Well, Keegan, we wish you luck next week, and we thank you for coming up and talking to us. Who do you have to thank at the end of this one?
Yeah, thank you to all the sponsors on the truck: After Hours Restorations, Lamila Racing Esports, Admin Box, Johnson Iron Team, Jazbowski Designs for quickly putting on these patriotic numbers to my primary scheme that they made me. Thank you to Justin for the help. He quickly kind of taught me how to drive this place here tonight, and that was a huge help. I don't think without it that I wouldn't have been able to really win it. So just can't thank him enough for everything he's done over the past season. Thank you to what you guys do at Grid Vision for putting on a great broadcast, Champion Power Equipment. I think it's fitting also to say thank you to all those who served for Memorial Day weekend coming up still. We appreciate what everyone's done for this country, for us to have the freedom. This weekend I get the honor of honoring Scott Sather for the Owasso Nationals, I believe, or Big O something, for the CRA Jegs race on Saturday night. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to go out there and have some fun, and represent all the service members who died for the country.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing how you compete this weekend, and looking forward to seeing what you can do next Tuesday night whenever we go racing for a championship, Keegan. Congratulations on the night.
Awesome, thank you, appreciate it, buddy.
All right, that was our race winner, Keegan Sabilo. He brings it home from the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and that's going to do it for us, Brian. What do you have? What do you have to say for this race and going forward into next week whenever we're going to crown a champion?
I'll tell you, I can't wait to see how next week's race goes. I mean, I got to say also, Nathan Meyer, who had double the wins out of everybody just a couple weeks ago, that's no longer the case. Keegan Sabilo is catching up. He's got 4 wins versus Nathan Meyer's 5. Could we see 5 versus 5 next week if Keegan wins? Or does Nathan get another W and get back to victory lane? I know he's probably aching to do so, but I'll tell you, it's been so entertaining watching this series unfold.
It could definitely be 5 wins versus 5 wins next time whenever we go racing from Gateway. That's going to do it here for us tonight. We're going to show you our schedule real quick to see what's going to happen this week on the grid, though. Tomorrow night, Thunderclap iRacing Series from the North Wilkesboro Speedway, going back a week, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Thursday night, Autism Speaks 96 for the High Slide Racing League, 8:20 p.m. Eastern from the Auto Club Speedway. Absolutely love that racetrack. Be sure to show up. That's a heck of a show every single time it comes up on the schedule. And then Friday night, we're going to be back at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for some Ryko Performance Friday night NIS Top Split. That's going to be the second split this weekend, but we're still going to have 400 laps from the Charlotte Motor Speedway on offer for you guys. From the entire Grid Vision team, we'd like to thank you for watching and participating in our chat. For more information on getting your league broadcasted or starting your career in broadcasting, contact us on Facebook, X, or email us at info@gridvision.live. Congratulations to Keegan Sabilo for winning back-to-back races here in the Champion Power Equipment iRacing Truck Series. I've been Austin Edstrom, standing alongside Brian Britt and Austin Derbyshire. We will see you next time on the grid.